This is Kent and Renee Miller, and hope all of you had a happy holiday.
Recording.
And we're starting off the new year, trying to get our momentum back. We did notice that one of our videos was inaccessible, and that was the one on chakras. So this is a new recording of a video we had done previously last year. So we're going to start out with a little bit of background on chakras. In the U.S., chakras, and particularly the belief in 7 chakras, has become very dogmatic. Yeah. But it's based on false information.
Actually, it started approximately anywhere between 1300 and 1500, the 7 chakras.
And there were some translations that were done, I believe, in India. And then there were other people in the U.S. that came along and translated the translation. And so basically, most of what is coming out of American authors and American media, social media, is based on an interpretation of an interpretation from somebody who has not written or read the original Sanskrit writings.
Yeah, it's called Euro-Western yoga, using these chakras, which is not very old. And anyone writing a book on chakras, probably within the last 300 or 400 years,
from the U.S.
And from Europe, got it all wrong. It's that simple. Now, whether you want to believe us or not, do your own research.
And we're going to direct you to a website that we found that actually explains it quite well. And this is written by someone who is a scholar in Sanskrit. So,
and what is Sanskrit? It's an ancient language.
So that website we would direct you to is Hareesh, and that's HAREESH.org. And the story that he writes is the real story on chakras, and he specifically is addressing tantric yoga. So, and we don't claim to be scholars on this subject. No. What we are trying to do is take the lessons that we were given
through meditation
that are included in the book, The Augmentation of Man, A Study in Renaissance, and attempt to correlate these teachings with other avenues of research so that you can do your own homework and not just take what we're saying as face value.
We encourage everybody to do whatever they read, to do the homework and see the truth of what they read. That's the only way you're going to get the truth of anything, is you have to do your own homework.
Now, our journey started in like 2007, and when we started on this path, we weren't looking for it. But as you get more and more involved in it, then you start networking with people who are already involved in it, and you start being exposed to new terminology that you had never been exposed to before. And so for that, for me at least, one of those words was chakras. So I got on the internet and I did a search on chakras, and I ended up getting off after a couple hours extremely confused, because what I was reading was that chakras were responsible for anything and everything.
We want to talk about the ancient civilizations, such as the Hopi, and those that did Sanskrit believed in 5 chakras. And Sanskrit is
tantric yoga being one of those.
Yes, and it's activated by the conscious ones, and the ones that want to exchange communication with the ancient and the creator.
And
through meditation or through prayer. Prayer is meditation.
So let's back up a moment. The word chakra in Sanskrit means wheel. And so it's referring to energy centers along the meridian lines of the body. And so in American culture,
Euro-American.
It's predominantly taught 7 chakras. However, depending on who you're talking to, it could go up to 114. It could go up to infinite amount of chakras. And so what we have been taught by the ancients or the ancient teachers of the Creator is that there were 5 original chakras that were taught to the human civilization way back, BC, thousands of years ago. And that these 5 chakras were only for the purpose of communicating with the ancients and through the ancients, the Creator, and for our enlightenment. So in the Sanskrit, these energy centers are activated to enable us to become one with the infinite, which is a representation of the Creator. And in that, we can learn and gain enlightenment. So it does fit, our teachings does fit with the ancient meaning of chakra and its ancient understanding. Yeah. And so
the energy, the chi, the chakras come in through the chi, which is the navel area.
Hold on.
Excuse me. Okay, go ahead.
I would say you're going to confuse people when you say chakras come in through the chi.
Oh, yeah, okay. Just go ahead.
So we are talking about, this is communication energy.
Yeah.
And so there's different types of energy that enter the body. There's life force energy, but we are today going to be talking about communication energy. Okay. So that type of energy that enters the body when you are in a deep meditation and you are trying to communicate with higher guides for enlightenment purposes.
Or prayer, honest prayer that comes from the heart, the need to get an answer to your prayer also works in this way.
So this is for conceptual understanding, and that is the true purpose of channeling. Channeling is has also become watered down and become more of an entertainment factor in recent years. That is not the real purpose of it. It is, the purpose of it is for the person who is the channeler to receive this information to act as an agent of change for the world, so that they're bringing in this new information to be shared with people. So this communication energy enters through the chi.
Chi, which is the umbilicus area, and it travels up the back and can go up because there's so many nerve endings up through the back area, up through the spine. It travels up that way, so it comes through the heart chakra through that point, which gives the communication emotion, the feeling behind the communication that you're trying to give out. And then as it goes up from the heart, it goes up to the throat. It gives the communication sound so you can express yourself as best as you can through sound.
Through language.
Through language. And then it goes up to the second chakra, which is the third eye or the brain. Okay, and the brain putting all this together that came in so you can understand the results of your communication.
And it gives the visuals.
Yes, and it gives the visuals of your communication. And then it goes out through the head, the center of the head, the soft spot goes out.
Well, it's no longer soft in adults.
Longer, but it goes out through the head and to that entity that you're trying to communicate your need to, which would be the ancient or the creator.
So through higher understanding. So, and we're being told it forms a loop of sorts. So the American version of chakras would be the first and second would be your root chakra, and then the second would be behind the bladder, and then that would represent sexuality and a gamut of other things. So lots of things attached to it. Forget all that. It's simple. And that simplicity lies in the communication for higher conceptual understanding through a spiritual guide that is of a higher source. And so the first root chakra actually is reflective. It is one that was added by man. The second chakra also was added by man. And so the first chakra being promoted is in some aspects for survival. However, we're being told that the fifth chakra, which is where the chi resides around the belly button, is what is allowing life force energy to come in, but it also is responsible for that survival and that sense of life. And so that the fifth chakra is the root chakra. It senses the root feeling or emotion of that energy coming in, and it is responsible for survival. Now, the second chakra being promoted in the U.S.
Chakras now,
I'm making some comparisons. Okay. So the second chakra being promoted in the Western world is that of sexuality and the urinary tract system, that sort of thing. That was added by man. We're being told by the ancients.
And within the last 400 years, it's been added by man.
It's a very recent thing. And that is more of a physical, chemical, biological aspect of our physical being. It is strong, as well as the survival instinct is strong. And we suppose that peoples in the past started recognizing them as chakras because these are very strong energies, but they are not chakras. And so to back up, the chi senses the root feeling of the communication. The heart senses the emotional aspect of that communication. The throat gives the language aspect of the communication. The third eye gives the visual aspect of that communication. And it coordinates with the cerebral cortex around the brain so that we are able to connect the dots and be able to form a clear picture, a very clear idea of what that answer and that conceptual thought is and what it means. And then from there, we communicate out through the top of the head, the crown chakra, which is the first chakra. And that would be perhaps our next question that we have for clarification from the spiritual guide. That our nervous system is interlinks with the universal nervous system, which is formed by charged particles in the air. So gases that contain a charge that form lines that they're bonds, and they form strings, and they ride on those strings. And our guides often refer to that as the plasmic lines, or it's also, it runs parallel to the neural net. So that's another network for accessing information.
Right. So there are two ways to stimulate chakras. One is a symbolic stimulation. So it's a default to arising out of a desire or want.
Is it a true stimulation?
It's not a true stimulation because it's a desire or want. That's not a true stimulation. A need, an absolute need, is the true stimulation. And this true stimulation, it lies to both the earth and the universal consciousness. And so attaining vibration, because vibration is everything. Vibration is what, when it goes in the chi up the back, etc., that's all vibration.
Vibrational energy.
Yes. And so it meditation is to attain the vibration sounds or the vibration units.
It's the clearing of your mind and raising of your own vibration to be able to accept this energy, this communication energy into your own body that is deciphered by the chakras through sensory mode, that the brain puts it all together for a clear communication. So you may hear sounds, see visions, have that gut feeling, have an emotional feeling, and we put it all together and say, this is what I feel is being communicated to me. Now, do all the chakras, is it necessary for all the chakras to be activated all at once?
Well, no. What has to be activated is an absolute need to activate it. I want a new car. That's not a need. That's a want. Okay? So you got to define the difference between wanting, desire, and need.
And so in the spiritual world, our needs are based on our spiritual evolution and our evolving consciousness and enlightenment. So that is the true need. The material world is just a temporary thing here, and we should not be putting our focus on the material world because it takes away from our true focus and why we are here.
Yeah, so kundalini, you've heard the word kundalini, which is just bringing forth some universal consciousness.
So it's a promotion of universal consciousness. And let's just back up a moment. That too, like the chakras, has been promoted incorrectly. So it's people who are taking information that's not from the original Sanskrit and promoting it and their interpretation of it, and then
who do
adding
not read
to
it. Yeah, the people are promoting it or do not know or read Sanskrit.
And so there's incorrect translations being put forth, and then man has this tendency to add to the story. Yeah. And so in that, then it takes on a life of its own and morphs into something completely incorrect.
Again,
and that's
do your
where
own
we're
research to see what these terms actually mean.
And seek out those who actually can read Sanskrit and can translate them directly. Yeah, that's where your true learning is going to be.
You want to look at the ancient language. That tells you the truth.
And so getting back to the kundalini, for comparison, the Western interpretation is that, you're waking up the kundalini within your body, and that we're being told is incorrect. The kundalini is a large energy source that is promoting universal consciousness, and it springs forth from outside the planet. And it's based on all these different planetary alignments, and it changes according to those planetary alignments and where it is on Earth. So it's this moving energy.
It's a constant moving energy throughout the universe.
Yes, and its object is to bring forth the impetus for our spiritual growth, learning, conceptual understanding, that sort of thing. And I believe that it was Drunvalo Melchizedek that really, in one of his books, that had given a more clear and accurate representation of the Kundalini.
Yeah. So with that, we like to say we discovered some very good evidence from a scholar of Sanskrit that pretty much goes along with what I got in meditation, but a lot more. It talks about...
he gives a very good historical account of the evolution of the chakras and the belief in the chakras and what is being promoted. And so we would, again, encourage you to visit this site, hareesh.org, HAREESH.org. And again, he is a scholar in Sanskrit. He's able to read Sanskrit and give the original true definition. And it's very closely aligns to the way that we've been taught. This article was written last year.
And this has been backed up by Hopi. And they also believe in the 5 chakras that they used to follow 5,000 years ago. So
we hope that you can wrap your brain around this. Keep an open mind, please, because there's a lot of things that we've been taught that are incorrect. And so it's going to be hard to rewrite over the programming that's already been done. It's even harder for teachers who were teaching 7 chakras to rewrite, because that means that they have to confess that they have been teaching incorrectly.
Yeah. So whenever anybody has been teaching anything and then learns the truth or the real version, it's really hard for anyone.
That's right.
To change. Oh no, I've been teaching this for years and now it's wrong. What am I going to do?
That's like professors, and researchers, and they've put out a book, and yet as time progresses, there's new truths that are discovered, and this is constantly
occurring. But they hate to change their book.
But they don't want to go back and say my book is incorrect, so they will vehemently protect their standing, and so
almost to moral incapacity.
Yeah, we just have to learn to push the ego aside and realize that this world is just an onion that's being peeled back one layer at a time. And as we peel the next layer back, we realize that what we thought to be the whole truth wasn't.
All of us have to do our own research to find out the truth of whatever we're looking for.
And this is the cycle that we're entering with the conceptual learning, is that we have to be responsible for our own research.
And with that, we'll end this video. And it's been a long one. I wanted to make a short one. It's been long.
Happy New Year. Have a great 2019. We'll be back again. We're trying to gain some momentum here and get going again. Kent's had a lot of physical issues. He's finally starting to get over, so it's kind of held us back, and then we were hit by the holidays. So anyway, keep your search going for the truth. Visit us on our website, verdiance.com, and visit us on Facebook. We're also now on Twitter. We're starting Instagram. And so you'll be able to find us there as well.
Yes.
And we probably have some new things coming down the line too.
Anyway, talk to you soon.
Take care.
Have a great week.
Blessed be your path.